Lifestyle. We are live today. We're actually inside a Murphy bed floor plan. I want to go over a couple things with you dealing with the Murphy bed and why it's really still, even today, a really nice setup, especially now that things have progressed over the last 7 or 8 years to the point where a lot of the manufacturers don't use folding mattresses anymore. They use a straight up and down mattress that straps to the Murphy bed so that way you can keep your sheets, your blanket, your comforter all intact for the most part. We're going to talk about that today. I'm going to kind of show you an example of one. This is a Forest River Flagstaff 25 BRDS. It's the same thing as a 2506 Rockwood Mini Light, so it's the same setup, same everything. Hi, Skylar. Sunday's going great. Before I get into that, I want to address three things real quick. So I've been writing articles. That's part of what I've been doing lately is besides videos, podcast episodes, and live streams, I've started to write articles about different aspects of the RV industry, the RV community, and the RV lifestyle. And I've gotten a lot of positive feedback except for one article. And of course, that article was written about Brinkley RV and their seals package. So what I did was I started answering a lot of comments, but I'm getting bombarded by people that want to discredit me. So I want to set the record straight about something. I do not hate any manufacturer. Okay? Every manufacturer has their problems. What I am against is I'm against the manufacturer hiding their problems, and I'm against the manufacturer not being completely 100% transparent and giving information that may or may not be partially true. And I don't care who it is. I'll put it this way. I'm a huge fan of Genesis Supreme RV. I'm a huge fan. Big fan. I consider them to be the best toy hauler manufactured in the United States, and it's unfortunate that the entire country can't enjoy them. Hey, Greg. But if Pablo, who owns it, and his son Chris, if they screw up, I'm going to shove my foot up their rear end. Okay? They're not perfect by any means. So I'm fair to every single manufacturer. When I say something negative about Genesis Supreme RV, or Heartland, or Thor, or Forest River, or Coachman, when I make criticisms about those manufacturers, I don't see anybody attacking me. I don't see anybody making negative comments towards me or trying to discredit me. I do get a lot of folks that say, hey, we noticed you said something about Cedar Creek. Well, we own a Cedar Creek, and we actually have had zero problems with it and really love it. That's a great comment. And I usually respond like, that's wonderful. Unfortunately, not everybody has that experience, but that's absolutely wonderful. I hope you enjoy it. But it seems like, and this is before Brinkley, it was Grand Design RV with the frame failure, frame flexing. And that turned into people trying to discredit me, trying to discredit Paving New Paths, trying to discredit all these people, come out and say all this negative crap about all these folks that are having major, huge problems with their frames, their fifth wheels, their momentums, their solitudes, their reflections, and it's turned into a class action lawsuit. Now, instead of, watch this, instead of people going, wow, these people were right, and we should pay attention to what they're saying, when I actually say something critical about a manufacturer that is using an experimental external seal and now has a growing number of people that own a 2022, a 2023, or a 2024 travel trailer, fifth wheel, or toy hauler by this manufacturer is having leak problems, water intrusion problems, rotting floors, cracks up their sidewall, electrical issues. What is done is we're being attacked. We're being attacked by people that are super fans. Now, I 100% get it. If you were hired by the manufacturer or hired by a company, or you're paid by the company to troll channels and troll negativity, or say that we've never had to defend ourselves so much and threaten your own consumers that they can't say anything anymore to a guy like me, a young lady like Liz Amazing, or anybody else. If you feel like the tactics have to be so extreme, then what does that say about anyone's product? If Pepsi Cola, Coca Cola, Cadillac, Mercedes Benz, Lamborghini, if any of these companies did what this corporation is allegedly doing, it would be the biggest news story across the world. So there's no need. I'm critical of everybody. I also give people credit when credit's due. I give a lot of credit when a manufacturer of an RV or a solar company or an AC company or a refrigerator company do something that's really good, because that energy, that positivity needs to be in the RV industry as well. Yes, negative sells, sex sells. I understand that. And I understand that people feel like they have to attack me because I'm saying something about a company like Brinkley RV. But if I don't bring out the actual negative items, and this is where I'm going to play devil's advocate with anybody that's a manufacturer in RV. I don't care if it's Storyteller, Brinkley, Grand Design, Newmar, I don't care who it is. If your rig is so perfect that there's nothing negative said about it on the internet, if there's no exposure of any issues whatsoever, wouldn't that be too good to be true? You know what? If you're watching now or you're watching later, let me know if that makes sense to you in the comments section. The next thing I really want to address is there are people who are accusing me of taking money from manufacturers. If I was taking money from manufacturers, that means they're encouraging me to talk crap about them, because there's no one that has not been under my wrath. Tiffin, Winnebago, Adventurer, everybody has had their boot up, has had my boot up their butt. Oop. Oh, we got customers. Okay. Everybody's had my boot up their butt. We'll walk outside and talk about this. So the reality is, So the reality is that if I was taking money from me, but when they do something stupid, I announce it. When they do something really good, I announce it. And if I was taking money from manufacturers, why would I be practically homeless? Now, some people have used that against me. Some guys have said, and that's another thing I'll address. Well, you're broke and living like a rat, so you'll say anything to make money. You'll say anything to make a paycheck. You're ruining any dealership that talks to you or deals with you. Well, if that's the case, why does every dealership I've ever helped in my entire career grow? Why? Well, it's because transparency is the best thing for the industry. Transparency is something that helps and benefits anyone. And everyone, almost everyone I've worked with or worked for, at least at the beginning, believes the same thing I do. Because when they start seeing the results of what occurs when you have transparency and you're upfront about things and you walk people through things, yeah, you still got people mad and pissed off, but it doesn't mean that you're never going to make everybody happy. It's impossible. Any industry, any manufacturing, any product. It could be as much as a Louis Vuitton purse and as cheap as a plastic bag you get at your local shopping market. Nobody in their right mind is going to be 100% happy. So when you see people attack me on the internet, I know that a lot of you have come to my defense. And I know a lot of you have defended what I do. Probably the super majority of you defend what I do because you understand what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to put manufacturers out of business. I'm not trying to it would be great if I made 30, 40 grand a month in ad revenue like some people we know. It's amazing. Anyway, it would be nice. I joke about it. I joke about Liz a lot. In fact, I haven't really talked about Liz a lot at all. But would I love to have Liz Amazing's channel with 10, 20 million views a week? Yeah. Would I want to about everything she talks about, which is negative, 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 negative? No, obviously. I would like to still have the balance. I would love for this channel and the podcast and the TikTok channel, everything to be 1 million subscribers and all that stuff. It's never going to be in the cards. It's not my intention. Number one, I don't have the money to push out and advertise myself. Number two is once people have gotten the education they're looking for, whether it's an RV loan, because that's probably the most watched videos I have are about how to get a loan, good credit, bad credit, down payment, how the actual industry works with an RV loan, because nobody really talked about that prior to me. Once they've gotten their RV, they're kind of done with me. They don't need me anymore, right? So if I could continue to average 200,000 views, 60,000 on long form, and 140,000 shorts a month, I'll make $500-600. I would be happy with that because at the end of the day, would I love to make more money on YouTube? Yes. Would I like to stop living like a rat, as people have made it out to be? Yes. Would I love to have a happily ever after ending to my life? Sure. Well, not ending, but you know what I'm talking about. But those things aren't in the cards because that's not normal human life behavior right now. So this industry, this industry offers so much to people. This lifestyle offers so much to people. We don't need to go and attack each other over. We don't need the attacks. And if you as a manufacturer feel like you need to attack my credibility and you got to hire outside sources to attack my credibility, then you don't understand that you're attacking someone that has nothing to lose. I have no assets. I have no money. I have my health. I have my gym membership. I have the ability to help people out buy the RV they love, that they want, whether it's a Brinkley, a Grand Design, an Arctic Fox, an A-Liner, a Flagstaff, a Rockwood. I'm here to give them the education that they need, because if anybody wants to be put on a pedestal as the best of the best of the best, you need to actually prove you are. And nobody has been able to ever do that. Because everybody in their mama is going to have problems. And that's why I always say that RV always will stand for toolkit and sense of humor. Now, you can argue with me all you want that the older ones are built better. That is the biggest piece of garbage fake news I have ever heard. I have worked on 1980s, 1990s, 1970s trailers, motorhomes, etc. They fall apart worse than the new ones. They're not built any better. They're heavier. They might have real wood cabinetry rather than some of the fake stuff that they put in these things now. And yes, the technology's older, so you don't have any slide outs in most cases. But in most cases, the auto level systems are outdated and horrible on these older motorhomes. You can't even find parts for them anymore. You have Generac generators that are outdated, that they blow up and they end up going bad, and there's no replacement parts. You go into Weekend Warrior toy haulers that are from the 1990s, and the walls are sagging, the floors are rotting, and they leak like hell from the roof. So they're all, no matter what you buy, from a 1950s Chieftain Winnebago to a 2020, soon to be 2026 R-Pod, which is going to be the first 2026s off the line, they're all not perfect. And the sidewall construction, the roof construction, the floor construction, all has been the same process or a similar process since the 50s. Nothing's changed. Not really. Technology's gotten better. They've gotten lighter. We're now to a point where you have aluminum framing rather than wood framing. So there's a lot of things that are very positive. But you can't go and tell me that a 1982, you can't tell me that a 1985 motorhome is better than a 2024 motorhome. It just doesn't exist. Yeah, Greg, I get that 100%. But at the end of the day, I got about 3 minutes left here. At the end of the day, the Murphy bed is taking big strides. So one thing that I was talking about at the beginning was the Murphy bed and how its place in the RV industry is just going to grow. And the reason why is because if you look at most of the trends in the RV industry right now, it's smaller is better. You're starting to see people that have, speaking of a Weekend Warrior, you're seeing a lot of people out there that are looking for more room, more seating, more adventure, more things of that nature in a smaller unit. A lot of it has to do with storage. A lot of it has to do with tow vehicles. You're starting to see people go from wanting a 45-foot mansion to a 25-foot trailer because they feel like it gives them more access. And in a lot of cases, they're right. It does give you more access to more campgrounds and more things of that nature. But the one thing you have to realize is that at the end of the day, a Murphy bed is basically a bed put away to give you living space during your camping experience. Windy days, rainy days, etc. And now they no longer fold the mattress in a lot of them. Now it's a straight up and down mattress where you can keep your spreadsheet, you can keep your sheets, you can keep your pillows, you keep everything kind of in a area where you're not, oh my God, I gotta make the freaking bed again. So just keep that in mind as we talk or as we look at things in the near future, is you're going to see the Murphy bed make a bigger impact on the industry because of the fact that folks are going smaller. It is a trend that's probably going to go on for another 4 or 5 years. And then who knows what will happen? 5 years from now, maybe we'll go back to 46-foot mansions again. I don't know. But for the reality, right now, there's a lot more stuff under 30 feet, meaning you take a tape measure to it, it's under 30 feet in total length. There's more stuff under 30 feet being sold than over 30 feet. So until next time, remember RV will always stand for toolkit and sense of humor.